in changing the way football was played in England. A guy who was quiet off the pitch, but once he stepped onto the field, my friend, he was a machine of passes, vision, unbelievable goals, and football intelligence from another planet. Yes, yes. Today we're talking about him, Paul Scholes. The midfielder who helped Manchester United dominate the Premier League for years, and who even legends like Xavi and Zidane said was one of the greatest they ever saw play. But before we dive into the career of this holy monster of English football, you already know, right? Show some love for the channel. Hit that like button down below because it really helps the video reach more people. And if you're a true football fan, go ahead and subscribe because there's a ton of amazing content coming your way. Now buckle up, because today's story is one of those that gives chills to any football fan. Let's go. Ah, Paul Scholes. If you've ever seen this guy play, you definitely had that moment of stopping, crossing your arms and going, "My God, what a player." But for those who haven't seen him, hold on, because I'm about to show you how a shy boy from Manchester became an absolute legend of the Premier League. Let's go back to the very beginning, because every legend has an almost unbelievable start. Paul Scholes was born on November 17, 1974, in Salford, Greater Manchester. A red-haired, short kid who struggled with asthma and wore thick glasses. He looked more like the quiet kid in the class than the future brain of England's biggest team in the 1990s and 2000s. But you know what's impressive? From a very young age, little Scholes already showed something different. There was something in his eyes. That reading of the game you can't teach. That natural ability to see the next play before any other kid his age. And get this, at 10 years old, he was already turning heads in local tournaments. That's when destiny started to take shape. At 15, he joined Manchester United's youth academy. And my friend, it wasn't just any academy. It was the legendary class of '92. The mythical generation that produced none other than David Beckham, Ryan Giggs, Gary Neville, Nicky Butt, and of course, our red-haired genius Paul Scholes. But here's the curious part. While the others were standing out early on, Scholes was kind of overlooked. You know why? Because he was short, shy, and barely spoke. But when the ball started rolling, oh my friend, it was like the world stopped. The kid saw passes no one else could. He struck the ball with a purity that looked like art. He was the kind of player coaches only realize the value of after he's gone from the pitch. His professional debut came in 1994, and what a start. Scholes scored 2 goals right off the bat against Port Vale in the League Cup. A debut straight out of a movie? That's right. He stepped onto the pitch and showed the world he was different. And even then, he was still underestimated. People said he wasn't strong enough, too quiet, barely talked. But what he did with the ball shut everyone up. And then, my friend, came the Alex Ferguson era. And our dear Scholes became the backbone of the most legendary midfield in Premier League history. He was the bridge between defense and attack, the maestro, the brain, the architect, a true master of space and time on the field. You know what's crazy? While everyone was talking about Zidane, Rivaldo, Ronaldinho, the great geniuses of the era, players like Xavi and Iniesta, World Cup winners with Spain and Barcelona legends, were saying that Paul Scholes was the best midfielder they had ever seen play, and check this out. Scholes scored over 100 goals in the Premier League. That's right, over 100 goals. And guess where most of them came from? Outside the box. He had a cannon in his right foot, and when he caught it just right, it was a certain goal. Goalkeepers would tremble when they saw that redhead winding up a shot. And it wasn't just the power, it was the accuracy, the timing, the way he struck the ball. A style that was all his own. But that's not all. Scholes was known for hitting 40, 50, 60-yard passes with terrifying ease. He saw spaces before they even existed. That's why he was so respected by opponents and so loved by fans. But here's a detail many people forget. Scholes played through pain. He dealt with knee problems for much of his career. And even so, even physically limited, he delivered football at the highest level. Now tell me, did you know he retired in 2011 and then came back to the pitch less than a year later? That's right. In January 2012, Manchester United was dealing with a bunch of injuries in midfield, so Ferguson called him and asked, "Can you come back?" And Scholes, in his usual simple way, said, "I can." He grabbed his boots, started training in secret. And when he stepped onto the field, everyone was shocked. It was like he had never left, controlling, passing, creating, scoring. Unreal. He didn't come back just because he missed it. He came back because he was still the best. And you know what's even more insane? He returned and helped United win another Premier League title in the 2012-2013 season. Simply epic. But what makes Paul Scholes' story even more incredible is the fact that he hated the spotlight. He was a silent genius. While others chased magazine covers, interviews, sponsorships, he just wanted one thing: to play football. He'd step on the field, put on a show, and head home. No glamour, no ego, and that made him even greater. And look, maybe one of the most underrated parts of Paul Scholes' career was what he did for the midfield role in English football. Before him, midfielders were seen much more as workhorses. Marking, strength, stamina. But Scholes came in and changed all of that. He showed that you could be small and still dominate giants, that you could be quiet, shy, almost invisible off the pitch, and still be one of the greatest on it. He redefined what it meant to be the brain of a team. The ball went through him all the time. Everything Manchester United built started at the feet of this magical redhead. And what's even more impressive? The longevity. He had a 20-year career at the top of English football. That's right, 20 years, from 1993 to 2013. 49 goals for the England national team and over 500 Premier League appearances, all of them in a United shirt. And hold on a second, did you know this? Paul Scholes played his entire career for one club. That's right, he was a one-club man. Something incredibly rare in today's game. A guy who wore the same badge from start to finish, and that is huge. And now you might be thinking, but James, why didn't he ever win a Ballon d'Or? And I'll tell you, because he never wanted to be in the spotlight. Scholes played for the love of the game. He avoided interviews, turned down marketing deals, didn't care for flash, because he was tough in the tackle. That's right, one of the few flaws of our red-haired genius. He just played, and let his talent speak for him. Here's a fun fact. Scholes picked up quite a few yellow cards, but almost never for arguing. Why? This was his timing. Sometimes he was just a little late on the challenge. And you can guess what happened, right? It was a crunching tackle. Even that became part of his folklore, the midfield genius, with the tackles of a center back, and believe it or not, he only gave one true interview throughout his entire career, and even that was short, direct, and no nonsense, because Scholes was always like that, objective, efficient, and 100% focused on playing football. Now think about it with me. What did this guy represent for English football? He changed how the midfield role was viewed. He was the foundation of one of the most successful teams of all time. He still inspires players around the world to this day. And he did all of that without ever being a media star. Scholes is literally the guy who proved you don't need to shout to be heard. You just need to play at an insane level. And my God, how he played! Oh, and if you still doubt his importance, listen to this. Sir Alex Ferguson himself said more than once that Paul Scholes was the most complete player he ever coached. Coming from the most successful manager in English football history. That's worth standing ovation, right? So, did you enjoy this incredible story? Tell me in the comments. What was the most insane thing you learned about Scholes today? Do you think he deserved a Ballon d'Or? Was he the smartest midfielder the Premier League has ever seen? And take this chance. Tell me which player you want to see in the next video. Could be a legend, a controversial figure, or a recent superstar. I want to know who you want to see shine here on the channel. If you like this video, go ahead and smash that like button, share it with that friend who loves football, and show them that football is also made of magical stories like Paul Scholes. And of course, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of the amazing journeys we take here on the channel. Thank you so much for watching until the end. You're awesome. And now, click right here on the screen, because there's another great video waiting for you, full of curiosities, emotion, and plenty of football action. I'll see you there.